They were really confident. The way they calmly presented and kind of gave complete confidence in their skills and expertise, they made it really clear to us that they would be the best person to help us answer this problem, and they really understood the sensitivities that we have within our organisation. So at Macmillan, we work with people living with cancer, people affected by cancer, and they were one of the only agencies that pitched for the project that really understood how difficult that can be to talk about and how sensitive they need to be and how they really need to understand the problem. And after they came in to talk around the way that they would approach it and the different techniques and methodologies that they would use, I had complete confidence in knowing that they would be the one to answer the problem. And then ever since then, I've really trusted them as a partner and as someone that I could go to for advice.
All the other agencies came in with a very strong sales pitch, talking about themselves, talking about why they were great. And OKO's approach was very different. They were interested in me as an insight team, as an insight professional, and what my problems were, and trying to really get into the core of what my issues were and my challenges. And they stood out in the day.
OKO are great at kind of breaking down a problem. So you might have one big question and they're very good at breaking it down into smaller parts that you can answer in a really clear way. So I work quite a lot in new product development, and actually it's not always that clear how you create something new, and sometimes it can be a bit jumbled and a bit unstructured, but they're really good at giving you a nice clear routine way of going through from this big problem to solve or this big brief to fill, and they'll work you through a really nice structured process to get to the answer that you need. And throughout that process, we're really confident and our stakeholders are really confident that we're getting to the right results.
They always put plenty of time and energy up front into really understanding what our question is, what our challenges are, what are we trying to get out of this piece of research, out of this piece of work, what's the end goal trying to be. They think very commercially, right? What does this mean for the organisation? What would it mean to us to do this piece of research? What will we do with the results? How will that impact us as an organisation? And then just very collaborative in terms of how they work and helping us hold our hand through the project, making sure that the research approach is really robust, making sure that they're talking to people in the right way. They always approach each problem as a unique issue with unique people that we're trying to talk to at the end of the day. And they help us through all of that and how we talk to those people in the right way, with the right type of questions, in the right setting, in the right context. And then they deliver really good outputs at the end.
And from start to finish on a project, they are there to support us. They are there to listen, they're there to answer the phone when we have any questions. And quite often, if in projects when it's hit a bit of a roadblock, you can bring them in, talk to your stakeholders and just have that consultative view on a problem, and they'll often pull you out of the weeds and they'll often bring you up to the bigger picture and say, actually, what is the problem that we need to solve, and here's how we're going to get there. From all my experience working with OKO, I'd say they're a very skilled and knowledgeable team, and actually their experience and their quality of experiences are what I think are their main selling points. So they have fantastic skills at running depths, running focus groups, with people talking about really personal subject matter. So actually their knowledge and their experience of having done it for us before and having done it for other companies is a key reason why we work with them over and over again.
On any project, whatever the challenge is and whatever the kind of issue is, it's going to be really good quality. From the quality and care and attention they put into the actual pitch up front, to working with us, working with stakeholders to understand the issues and picking apart the internal dynamics of who needs to be involved and what are their concerns and what's their agenda, to the actual research itself and making sure it's really robust and thorough and they're talking to the right people in the right way, right through to the delivery and how they land it. It's just always top quality, and they've always, the amount of expertise they've got in the team, they've thought through what all the challenges and problems might be, and they've addressed them up front before they've become challenges. Macmillan is a massive organisation. It's very complicated even for people who have worked at Macmillan for 6 months to get their head around Macmillan and how it works. And what OKO have done brilliantly is come in, you've got a couple of them in a project, and they've been able to just get their head around Macmillan, how we do things, who the different teams are, the different stakeholders that are involved, and kind of navigate that really, really well. And then understanding on top of that the context of we're dealing with cancer, we're dealing with people who have had health issues, have been affected by cancer, have had cancer themselves. There's lots of different layers of that to pick through, and you've got to be very careful about how you deal with that, and they've been fantastic at that.
I've got complete trust in OKO as an agency, their skills and their ability to help us answer some of the biggest problems that affect us as an organisation. They're really unique in their ability to give you meaningful and actionable insight that you can take away and put straight into action in your job when you go back to your day job. I'd say that some of the outputs from OKO are some of the most actionable that I've seen. So they quite often give you a one-pager to take away to your stakeholders, which as a client is invaluable because I'll often go away and have to create that myself. So having a one-pager, almost like a checklist of things that your stakeholders need to do or you need to do in action afterwards, that lives on forever. That goes in a folder that you can just copy in an email and send somebody else when they need a summary of a project. We're always really clear as well at the end of the project what needs to be done and why. So we often can link it back to the exact piece of insight, and all of us can go back to hearing people say something or seeing something, or when you present a new idea to someone that you've got through the process when you've been working with OKO, and if it's a new product, you can remember that moment where someone goes, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for. And it's because we listen to our customers at every step working with OKO, so that you know that the insights and what you get out at the end of it can be actioned.
We're now starting to see really strong impact of some of that work that OKO have done. As an example, the Legacy project, which was the first project we did with them, we're now looking at our whole legacy strategy and implementing the findings that we've had from that research. We've launched a Free Wills Month, which has driven a massive spike in people writing wills and writing Macmillan into their wills. And that was based on an insight from OKO that about the barriers that people had to writing wills, and they didn't understand it. They thought it was expensive. They thought it wasn't for people like them. And it's driven how we do innovation, how we have changed products before they've gone out to market. And they're always, any brief that we've had from OKO, they're always thinking about the results up front, and that's always the debrief is always focused around, right, here's the recommendations, here's what we think you should do.
Yeah, I definitely work with OKO again and recommend them to other client-side researchers. It's really because I have complete confidence in them. I am confident in working with them on all sorts of projects because they seem to be able to really understand your business problem. You can get beyond the fluff and get to the crux of the problem, and they can help you get that kind of deep and meaningful insight and understanding that you need. They're also great at bringing your stakeholders on the journey. So your stakeholders need to live it with you and they need to really understand it. And OKO are brilliant at getting them in the room and getting them to attend the focus groups, get them to attend the decks and get them out of the office, running workshops at their location, getting your whole team out of the office and coming away for the day to really think about problems differently. They're great at getting you into a different headspace.
It's their knowledge of research and how to apply the right methodologies at the right time for the right audiences. It's their commercial understanding and understanding how to get the question right at the start, how to frame the problem, how to take that through to research, and then how to land the results and focus on implications and recommendations. And they're just a nice bunch of people to work with, which is always a real nice bonus to have on top of that. We have quite close relationships with other charities and with other charity insight teams, and when they talk to us about research and what we've done and what works, what doesn't work, we've talked to them about OKO and we've recommended them, and I think now some of them have started to use OKO as well. Every project at Macmillan is unique, and we always have to kind of go out and brief it out to a number of different agencies to make sure that process is fair and balanced. And OKO is the one that kind of keeps coming back again and again and winning the pitches and landing the work. And delivering really good insights to the point where they're now, all of the insight team know them really well, have worked with them, and lots of different stakeholders are starting to know of them as well. So yeah, definitely I see them as a research partner with a very, very strong set of skills.
I personally see them as a partner. I would work with them I would at least like their opinion on most of the projects that I work on. I like to, to send it over to them, get a second opinion. I'll often just ring them up and ask them for advice, because they're so knowledgeable about what they do, and they can often look at a problem in a different way and take a different perspective on a problem that we're having and help us come to a solution.